Hello, 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 and welcome back to another edition of Believe in Lions. That's BLEAV in Lions. With the draft coming up, with a big trade made last week, we are here to cover it all with the one, with the only, with the interception leader, with the all pro Lions legend. It's Glover Quinn.
What's up?
Not too much, just enjoying the off season. It's kind of quieted down, or at least it had for the most part. And then we get some big news last week with a trade. We got the draft coming up, so it's starting to ramp up, but it's still just a nice off season. It's been a pleasant off season. I can't lie.
Yeah, it has. It's been good. It's been good. The Lions have made some moves. Honestly, some really good moves, actually, undercover moves, quiet moves, different things. They've really positioned themselves pretty good, I think, so far, from what I've kind of seen. Um, this off season. Um, so I'm looking forward to the draft. The Okudah trade was something that you knew something was gonna have to happen there. Um, and maybe it'll work out for both of them.
And you had seen it coming for a while. I texted you sarcastically, "Oh, who could have seen this coming?" Because it feels as though most stories coming down the pipe GQ has a little bit of foresight. I don't know if you can see the future or you're just reading the tea leaves, but you could tell something was going on. They signed those corners. There was the talk they weren't going to pick up his fifth year option. And then all of a sudden, bam, he is gone. He's a Falcon. And after the fact, when they asked Dan Campbell about it, he says they wanted to do right by Jeff Okudah. They realized they could have held on. They could have waited until some team suffers an injury and waited until the price tag goes up. And this is just what he says, but they wanted to give him a fresh start. They knew that he had lost his starting job and it wasn't fair to keep him there. Feels very similar to the Matthew Stafford trade where it was, hey, we're just going to let you go. We're going to do right by you. Am I misreading this or?
No, I think that is a great thing. I remember back when we was going through the Matthew Stafford trade, and I remember saying something. I either tweeted it or I put it on Instagram, and I was like, sometimes it's about more than just doing what's best for you, the team. I said sometimes when it was talking about Stafford, I said Stafford has given Detroit everything he's had since 2009. Yes, I understand that you want to get something for him. I understand that. But you should give him an option to at least let you guys know where he would like to go. We've decided that we're gonna split this thing up. Okay, we're gonna make a trade. Cool. Don't send me to a dumpster fire just because you can get more picks, right? And a lot of people gave me flack over that because they're like, well, this is business and we got to do this and we got to do that. What you don't understand is when you're building an organization, when you're building something, sometimes the relationship that you have with your players, your former players, your current players, the people is what helps bring new people into your program. If they know you don't care about them, they know you don't this, don't that, it's just they don't want to play there. New England got players a lot because they were winning. Because they had Tom Brady. How many big time free agents do we see going to New England right now? How many?
None.
Why? Because they're not winning like that. They don't want to play for Bill Belichick. It was cool when you're winning. When you're not winning, they don't want to do that. Who gets the big time, the cool cities, the LAs, the Miamis? They're gonna get the big time free agents, right? The good quarterbacks, obviously. But you got to do stuff like that. And it doesn't hurt to say, hey, Jeff, this is what it is, man. You know, we don't see you as a starting guy right here. We've signed two guys that we want to grow with. Instead of like, you know what, I care enough about you, Jeff, to at least give you an opportunity to go and fend for yourself. And when you do stuff like that, you never know how these careers turn out, man. You never know. You never know how these careers turn out. Jeff could go to Atlanta and get super healthy and turn into a great player, and then something happened and it doesn't work out in Atlanta for whatever reason, right? And next thing you know, he's in year 8 and he's back in Detroit. All because the relationship isn't sour. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so many different like Marvin's back, right? Like it's just so many things that yeah, I get it. Sometimes you got to do certain things and you want to get something, right? But to hold Jeff hostage just to get a third round pick when you can keep the relationship, move him and get a fifth round pick, it ain't that big of a deal, boss. It ain't that big of a deal. So I like what the Lions did. I like them going ahead and making the move. I like it. I like it. And it helps them. Now they know 3 weeks or a month early, hey, we got a fifth round draft pick. They don't have to figure this out the day of the fifth round. Oh, yeah, we get another pick. We can no, right now what you have. So you can use that as leverage. You can use that to playing your picks. Like it's a lot of things that you can do knowing that you already have that. So I think it was a great move by the Lions. I think it's great for Jeff. Sometimes you just need to change the scenery, go do something different. And I mean, I thought he played solid last year. Getting back healthy, that was his first. That was really his. I mean, he hasn't really played that much. He got hurt. And got hurt in the first game of I think of his second season. So he hasn't really played that much, and so I think last year was a big year for him just mentally to try to stay healthy for as many games as he did. And I think once he continued to get over that hurdle, he'll come into his own. But we got to always remember now, Jeff didn't come out of Ohio State as a 10, 12 interception guy. So I mean, we never saw him as a turnover ball hawk machine. He was always just a hardworking, physical, competitive, great size cornerback. Like that's what he was, at least from what I saw him as. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody even take a look at him as a safety. If they feel like he's physical enough and wants to tackle enough. I think he's shown that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he got a great size. I mean, I think it's possible.
I've heard the safety idea floated around. I've also heard the idea that you could put him at nickel because of the tackling ability. He has shown that he's not afraid to put his face in there. There's lots of ways that it could pan out, but whatever it is, I think it's for the best. When I first saw this trade, I was a little surprised. I thought the Lions could have got more, but then when you hear the actual story, when it's not just the headline fifth round pick trade, when you hear the story, it starts to add up. Okay, this is all they could get right now. They could have held on. They did right by their people. I've heard this term thrown around lately. It's the happiness tax. It's paying extra money to get Odell Beckham to Baltimore because that will make Lamar Jackson happy. It's drafting Jamar Chase because he's Joe Burrow's best friend. And on the opposite end, sometimes you have to take less in a negotiation to do right by your people, like you said with Stafford, like we've talked about with Okudah. So I'm just happy with how the Lions are treating people and the fact that we're not having to put out fires all off season, because it feels as though every story that comes out right now, it's a positive one. It's a happy one for the Lions. They sign free agents. They, even though it's not fun losing a former third overall pick, it is done for the right reasons. And that's what it's just feels so refreshing right now.
Yeah, man. And like going back to what you said, I truly believe that 100% the happiness tax, or whatever you want to call it. I believe that you have to do things to make yourself happy, right? Like just say, for instance, me, right? I'm not a guy, I'm not gonna even lie. I've been this way my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. I don't like mowing the grass. That's just, I've never done it, right? I mean, I've done it, but I never liked doing it. So if I just had whatever, right? I don't mind paying somebody to mow my grass, right? Even if, let's just say, for instance, just say it costs, because I got about 2 acres. So let's just say it costs $350 every time they come and mow my grass. And it takes them 3 hours, right? I would rather do a picture frame in those same 3 hours and make the same $350 and give that money directly to the grass people. And you'll say, you didn't make anything, right? But I did something that made me happy. I don't want to mow the grass. That don't make me happy. I'd rather do a frame and just use that money and pay somebody else to mow the grass. Did I come up? No. I broke even. But from a happiness standpoint, I won. I did something that I enjoyed doing. So many times people try to hold on to every dollar that they have, but they are miserable because they got to do stuff that they don't like doing. You don't like cleaning the house? Cool. Pay somebody to clean it. Even if it costs you a little money, that little money will make you feel happier because when you come home from work, your house is clean. And now you take that energy that you don't have to spend to clean your house and you do something fun. You spend more time with your kids. You go outside. You do something. Why? Because you don't have to spend the next 2 hours cleaning your house. And it costs you a little money. It's okay. So I'm a big believer in that. Sometimes you gotta do stuff like that to keep people happy, to make people happy. Hey, like you said, yes, Jamar Chase is a great receiver. We understand that. But if there's somebody a little better, do we take the guy that's a little bit better? Or do we just say, you know what, this guy right here is really close and he's Joe Burrow's best friend. They play together. They got a good relationship. Let's just take this guy. It's going to be better for us in the long run. Like, you have to do those things. Now, with the Baltimore situation, you don't have a guarantee with Lamar Jackson being there, right? So you're doing this based off of, well, hopefully if we bring in Lamar, I mean, if we bring in Odell Beckham, maybe we can get Lamar. And, in the news, you get a story. Behind the scenes, you know the real story. So, but when you have things concrete, like the Bengals, they knew Joe Burrow's our guy. We're gonna go get his guy. So now he's happy. And it'll work out for us in the long run. Could we have gotten better? Could we have spent less? Could we? Yes, but does it really matter in the grand overall scheme of happiness and winning and having a good time and creating a good relationship, a good environment, a good app? Like those little things are incremental.
And they
So
they're incremental, they add up, and they create something that you can't put a price tag on. You cannot put a price tag on your happiness, whether it's as a football player or as a person just not having to cut the grass. There's no price tag on that happiness. There's no price tag on the hours of the day that you now get back because you've paid someone to do the task you don't want to do, because you have your best friend in the building with you. You can't put a price tag on that.
you just can't. You just can't do it.
You can't at all. And it creates a good locker room where you work together you have these relationships, and you can start breaking down field and feel comfortable, or breaking down film and feel comfortable just communicating, right? You're not afraid to hold back because, oh, I might get roasted by this vet because I'm talking out of turn. It just creates a wholesome environment, and that's what we're looking for here.
Yep. Love it.
And
And you
so
have to do it.
with that in mind, last week when we got together, or 2 weeks ago now, we were talking about some defensive scheming, some chalk talk. We talked about the nickel defense versus the base defense and all of that fun. This week, I wanted to get into more single high defensive stuff because it often can be confusing. You see two guys on the outside, you see one free safety back deep, and you think, okay, well, is this man? Is it zone? Or does it even matter? Because, this guy right here, he's going to drop back deep. This guy's going to drop back deep. Maybe he stops if it's man because he runs a curl. But either way, it all looks the same to me. I'm just watching the TV copy. So I wanted to get Glover Quinn, a guy who watches the TV copy and can decipher from straight there, but also knows the X's and O's in the game plan, just to kind of break it down for us, the cover 3, the cover 1, and the different responsibilities within it.
Cool. So, like you said, this is a cover 1 look. 1 high look is what they call it. Single high, right? So when you have single high, you have 1 safety high. You see the free safety high. If the strong safety was back and the free safety was back, that's what you call 2 high, right? So in your single high defenses, you have cover 1, you have cover 3. In your 2 high defenses, you have cover 2, you have cover 4. Yes, there are multiple things you can do. Cover 5, cover 6, cover 8, different things like that. But it's still going to be 2 safeties high or 1 safety high, okay? When you go 1 safety high, you really do those things when you want to stop the run, because when you bring a safety down, if you count the guys in their box, they have a center, the square with the X. They have 2 guards, a left and a right, and they have 2 tackles, a left and a right. So that's 5 guys. They have a tight end. That's 6 guys. That's really all they have in their box. 6 guys, right? They got a quarterback. He's ineligible. They got the halfback. He got the ball. Then they got a nickel, well, a slot receiver. So they got 6 guys on the inside of the box right there. We have 2 tackles, 2 ends, that's 4, 2 middle backers, that's 5 and 6. So now that's 6 on 6, and then you bring the safety down, now that's 7. So when you go with it like that, from a defensive standpoint, it's going to be called an 8-man box because we're going to count the nickel. Even though the nickel is out on the slot receiver, it's still looked at as we have 8 guys down in the box, right? So we outnumber the offense. They got 6 blockers. We got 7 defenders. They got 7 people because they got the running back with the ball. But what that means is there should be 1 guy that's unblocked. The unblocked guy has to make the tackle. It is what it is. It's gaps. If you look at the end should have the outside gap, the will linebacker. So if you start from the left right there, the end, you can take the end, move him to the outside. He'll be there. The will would be in that gap between there. Yep. The tackle would be in his gap right there. Boom. The Mike could probably take the strong side A. Boom. The other tackle would take that B right there. Boom. That end would probably be outside the tight end. Right. Lined up right there. So the safety would come down. Boom. And if the end blocks out, if that tight end blocks out on the defensive end, the hole opens up. The safety runs through to make the tackle. That's why you see Harrison Smith and a lot of those safety guys run through, make tackles unblocked. That's why, because they're the unblocked guy. Tight end blocks out, they read it, shoot the gap, get the running back, make the tackle, right? If you was in too high and that safety was up, now it's 6-on-6, right? You see how that works? We still got our 6 in the box. They got 6 in the box. So now somebody has to win, or the next person to make the tackle are the safeties, right? When you bring the safety down in the box, now we got an unblocked guy, right? So that's single high when you want to stop the run. So you see that a lot in first and second down when teams are in base, or when teams just like to run the ball. You see that a lot. The thing that you can do is those cover 1 and cover 3 can look a lot alike, right? Because you're going to see it as single safety, right? You're going to see it as single safety. And that's what the quarterbacks are looking at. The quarterbacks don't really care so much as if you're in man, zone, cover 1, cover 3. They don't really care as much. All they want to see is single safety or too high safety. Because
Really?
what they're reading is when you're in single safety, the middle of the field is closed, is what they call it. When you're in a too high safety, the middle of the field is open. So right now we're in a single high safety, right? So the quarterback reads single high. He already knows right now where he wants to go with the ball.
And that's outside?
Backside. You see
Backside.
the Z backside? That's where he's going.
Just off of that one look.
Just off that one look. Because guess what he know? If they're in man-to-man, right? If they're in man-to-man coverage, take that tight end, that Y, and run him on like a deep over. Like take him up over the linebackers right there. Guess who got to go with him?
Strong safety.
The safety, right?
Ah.
Who's back there with the corner? Nobody. It's one-on-one. That's why you have XY receivers. I know they got the Z right here. That's why you have XY receivers, right? Those guys that you put them back there, and now they one-on-one. The Calvin Johnsons, the Andre Johnsons, the Odell Beckhams, the guys, Julio, like they put those guys back there. You go single high, we got one-on-one. But that's why you put the Darrell Reeveses over there. You put the Richard Shermans, the Darius Slays. That's why those guys have that task, because they know single high, that backside guy is going to be one-on-one. And it don't matter if it's cover 1. It doesn't matter if it's cover 3. Because we did it in cover 1, right? Put the Y back and put the safety back. Now it's cover 3, right? Some teams run cover 3 where you have hook, curl, flat defenders, right? So that safety, so cover 3 would be 3 under, 4 deep. Well, 4 under, 3 deep, right? Meaning you got the corner is deep on the outside, the safety's in the middle, and then those 4 guys underneath, the safety, the Mike, the Will, and the nickel. Those are your 4 underneath zone defenders. So the nickel will have the flat. So the nickel will be just moving right out, about right there. Put the Will right outside the hash. About right there. Put the Mike about outside the other one. About right there. And then put the safety outside. Boom. Something like that, right? Those are your zones. Those are your zones. The way they get people, though, is that safety has a run gap, right? We
This
already
one
went
or
over the
the
run.
strong safety?
The strong safety. He's down in the box. He has a run gap, and he's connected kind of to that tight end. So the way they get you is they take that tight end and they run him straight up the seam. Take him straight vertical and move him outside the mic right there. That's the landmark. That's the landmark for those guys going vertical in cover 3. Why? Because it gets them away from the middle field safety. right? Gets him away from the middle of the field safety, and it gets him inside of this outside safety and inside of the corner. So if you play in cover 3, somebody has to squeeze to that tight end right there, right? When you're playing cover 2, the middle field is called open. So when the middle of the field is open, now that tight end, he's going to bend it towards the middle. Boom, right there. And the quarterback is going to look to hit him in the middle of the field. When the middle of the field is closed, being that it's single high, now he can't bend it right there in the middle of the field. So it's free safety right there. So they're going to keep it wide, 3 yards on top of the hash. That's where they're going to be. You're going to see them right down the seam. Right? So as a quarterback, that's what they're trying to read. Is it single high? Is it too high? The wide receivers, that's what they want to read. Is it single high? Is it too high? Because they know if it's single high, I got to stay up the hash. If it's too high, I got to bend it in. And that's when you start seeing the miscommunication. Quarterback thinks he's going to bend it in. He read it as single high. He stayed wide. Quarterback throws it on the bender. He throws it straight to the safety because he's in the middle of the field. Right? Those are the things that happen in single high and too high. So what happens is, even if it's cover 3, they're going to attack that backside every single time. Every single time. They're going to attack that backside. So if you remember back in the days, Asante Samuel played for the New England Patriots. He caught a lot of interceptions. Caught a lot of interceptions on the backside, pick sixes. You know why he did it? Because New England was playing a 2-man concept, but they made it look like cover 1. And Asante Samuel was playing off coverage on the backside, but he was a underneath defender.
Oh.
So what that means is that safety that was down, he's really the half defender. They're just showing a pre-snap look. They're making it look like single high, but at the snap of the ball, he has the half, right?
So he's just sprinting out of there at the snap, right?
Well, it just all depends, right? You
Yeah.
could sprint out, but when you sprint out, now the quarterback knows, right? So they probably had some different kind of movements, how they did it, right? But Asante Samuel knows he's not the deep guy. So what that means is I can play off coverage, but I can squat. Because a lot of times when you play off coverage on the backside, they're not going to try to run past you because you're playing off. So they're going to try to run the quick slants, the quick hitches, the quick curl routes, all those little short routes. That's what they're going to try to run, right? If you go to that hitch right there, 5 yards, right? Boom. That's what they're trying to run. They're going to run that. You can go to the slant, go down, slant, go 3 yards. Boom. That's what they're going to run. Or like those are the routes that they're going to try to run on the backside when you're playing off coverage. So if I'm playing off and I'm inside and I know I don't have him deep, I can jump and break on all those routes. So they think they're going to throw that little curl because I'm going to be playing off man by myself backside. No, I'm squatting on all of it and I'm picking it off and I'm going to the house, right? That's because I'm showing single high and I know the quarterbacks are going backside and single high. If you listen to the commentators talk on TV, that's what they're going to say. They see single high, he's going to work the backside. Man, zone, quarterbacks, it don't matter. Because another thing you get is you start getting into blitzes. See right there, we did a normal 4 under 3 deep. And then we did a normal man-to-man. We had the tight end on the safety on the tight end, and obviously the nickel on the flanker and stuff like that, right? That's normal stuff. But you can also get into the blitzes, right? When you go blitzes, you lose a guy, right? You lose a guy. So in this same scenario right here, we got the nickel over the slot receiver, right? And we got the safety over the tight end. So neither one of those guys are blitzing, right? Neither one of those guys are blitzing. And the way I know that, and the way the quarterback is going to know that, is because if the safety blitz, that means the Mike backer has to cover the tight end, right? So if that Mike backer is still tucked inside of the A gap, right? How can he get over there and cover that tight end?
Yeah, especially if he runs any outside routes. If he
Right,
runs a flat or something like that, it's a
right,
foot race. He's losing every time.
right. So for that Mike to have that tight end, he's gonna have to position himself over the tight end a little bit. Now the quarterbacks know. Now they know because the Mike should be tucked in the A gap, right? Or if the safety has the tight end and the will linebacker is blitzing, who has the back?
The Mike would have to, wouldn't he? So
Right.
he's got to move out that
He got
way
to move
to.
up. So now they know. Now they know.
Ah,
Because now all they got to do is take the slot receiver and run him on a little crossing route right there. Boom. He gets in the way of the Mike. The Mike can't get out there to the fast running back, and the running back going for a touchdown. Right?
little pick play.
Simple,
That's not a pick play, right?
simple as that. Simple as that. So now they know. Now they know. So that's why a lot of times the Mike is going to be the blitzer or the uncovered guy. So say you put the running back on the other side. Boom. The
Now the
Mike's going
Will's
to
the
have
blitzer.
him. The wheel's going to blitz, right? The wheel's going to blitz, right? That's what you get into when it comes to man-to-man. Still going to be the same thing. You're just going to have one less defender, right? Because if you put the safety on the tight end and you put the Mike on the halfback, if you're not blitzing, you still have the wheel in the middle of the field, right? Just as a low hole help defender.
So
Tight
he's
end
just
try to run a
hanging out
yeah.
around here
Tight end
unless
try to
he's
run a
blitzing.
tight end try to run a crossing route. You got somebody in there that you can help give some body presence, right? If you blitz, you lose that. So now you don't have anybody inside low. You got somebody high, the free safety, but you have nobody inside low. So then that's why teams run those crossing routes when they know teams are blitzing, because it's hard for those inside defenders to be outside leverage. And the reason why when I say inside, I'm talking nickel and those safeties. The reason why you want to be outside leverage is because all your help is on the inside still. You still got a free safety to help you on the inside. If you get beat to the outside, there's nobody out there, right? So they're going to play outside leverage to play for the corner routes, to play for the out routes, all that stuff. And they're going to squeeze all those over routes and inside routes, knowing that I got a middle field safety in the middle. That's when you're blitzing. When you're not blitzing, you got a linebacker sitting in the middle. So now you got a low hole guy and a high hole guy, right? So if you remember back when we played against the Saints, right? When I caught the interception against Drew Brees, right? We were in cover one, the same concept, but instead of the strong safety being down, take the strong safety, put him back up. Instead of the strong safety being down on the tight end, we put a linebacker on the tight end, right? And then now, instead of a backer being our low hole inside help defender,
Now it's
I
you.
dropped down as the safety and was the low hole help defender.
So we
And
go
the Mike,
from
yep, I
too
came
high
from,
like this, and then you
yep,
drop down,
and
and
I
it's
dropped down.
just
And
surprise cover.
it was actually the other way, because you always drop down away from the nickel, right? But the way you got it is fine. The way you got it is fine, because the nickel is to the free safety side. But that was the concept, right? I dropped down, but we made it look like too high. So when you make it look like too high, what did I say the quarterbacks like to attack?
Right up here.
In the middle. Middle field is open. So they're gonna attack the middle, the digs, the seam routes. That's what they're gonna attack in too high. So we made it look like too high Drew Brees read it as too high. He read it as a cover 4 or a cover 8 where we had too high. We had cover 2 on one side and cover 4 on the other side. That's what he read because I didn't run down and make it look like a single high. I stayed high a little bit because I knew it was 3rd and 12. They had to get at least 12 yards to get the first down. So there's no point of me running down to 6 yards. They going to 12, right? So I was able to hang high and make it look like too high. So when those quarterbacks get the ball and they take that quick peek, they're seeing, is anybody running to see too high, 1 high, and who's moving? Okay, boom. I looked at him. He's still high. He's still high. It's too high. Now I know where I'm going. He's boom, right to the slot because you know the slot's running the crossing route. If the slot's beating his guy, boom, I'm going. Well, I'm coming from the backside, and when he throw it to the slot, I'm going to make the interception.
Whew.
Same concept. Cover 1. It's just instead of having a safety down on the tight end, we put the backer on the tight end. Instead of having the backer as the low hole help defender, we put the safety as the low hole help defender. A guy that's probably reads coverages better, can help cover better, all those different things. But it's still single high, they're working backside, cover 1 and cover 3. When you see a lot of single high, that means the teams want to stop the run, right? They want to stop the run, so they're going to crowd the box, and then they're going to have to play man-to-man coverage on the outside. So they're going to have a good backside corner. If a team don't have a good backside corner, they're probably not playing a lot of cover 1 or cover 3 because they're going to get attacked all day.
And on the opposite end, if you don't respect the backside wide receiver, would that make you more likely to play more cover 1?
Yes. Because it depends, right? If you're playing against the Titans, you say, okay, we got to stop Derrick Henry. We can't win this game if we don't stop Derrick Henry. Who's their ex wide receiver? They don't have A.J. Brown anymore. Who they got back there? All right, Slay, you got to go win. You got to go win back there. We got to put 8 guys in the box to stop Derrick Henry. So we're going to be in cover 1 all game or cover 3. Some kind of way. We're going to have 8 guys in the box, right? That's what we're going to do. When you play against the Patrick Mahomes, hey, man, we're going to keep 2 safeties high. Now you're telling your D linemen and your linebackers, hey, y'all got to win. Y'all got to figure out a way to get off blocks and stop Edwards-Helaire. Because we can't go 8 in the box all the time. Because Patrick Mahomes is going to kill us. We got to keep 2 safeties high to try to stop the pass. Give our corners, give our safety, give those guys some help. Otherwise, he's going to kill us. You guys got to stop the run. Yeah, we'll mix some stuff in there every now and then. But you guys got to do that. That's what goes into that. So that's when you see these teams, that, when they have like a big time running back, right? They want to find that one receiver that can be that guy. When you have a team like Kansas City that has good quarterback, wide receivers, they want to find that running back that can be that guy because they know if we got a good running back, you look at the Joseph Adai's back with Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James, right? He's a Hall of Famer. You look at even in his younger days, you look at Eddie Lacy when he was in Green Bay, and like they're looking for that running back that can carry the load because we're going to get a lot of 6-man boxes because they're not going to bring the safety down because we got a great quarterback. Or you're looking for that wide receiver like a Calvin Johnson, like a Andre Johnson, like one of those big-time guys that we can put on the outside so now they can't stack the box and stop our run game. So the Baltimore Ravens getting Odell Beckham, that not only helps try to persuade Lamar Jackson, but they like to run the ball. And if Odell Beckham can be anything like he was or is or used to be, or however you want to say it, then he would be considered as somebody that I don't know if we can just leave you one-on-one backside all game. So now we got to make plans for that. So once we take that extra guy out the box, that opens things up for our running game.
And with a mobile quarterback, it opens things up. Even without the threat of the wide receiver on the outside, just having a mobile quarterback makes it harder on the run game. You add a threat on the outside where you have to play two deep safeties and a mobile quarterback, you get the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
No question. And that's just the biggest thing, man. When you, like I said, when you think about cover one, you want to think run defense, tough man-to-man defense. That's what you want to think. We're stopping the run and we're playing tough man-to-man. Because nowadays, a lot of times a cover three even looks like man-to-man because they play a lot of match cover three. Very rarely do you get teams that play true zone cover three anymore. So when you hear cover one, cover three, it's single high, it's run defense, and that's what we're doing. And from an offensive standpoint, they're trying to work the backside. They're going backside. They're not throwing it into the front side with the nickel and the corner and the wheel. It's just a lot of guys over there. It's a lot of guys over there. They're not throwing it into that. They're going backside to that one-on-one matchup. If it's man, that's where they're going. If it's zone, that's where they're going.
And see, this, when you explain it and put it all together, you always hear from the commentary, oh, you got to mesh your pass game with your run game. You've got to open things up. They've got to work together. It makes a lot more sense when you explain it this way, because the run game is a threat. Now you have one less safety deep. Now Andre Johnson can feast winning those one-on-one matchups, things of that nature. It's really a symbiotic relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And it's just really about finding the right guys and the right pieces to go with it. That's why you look back, and yeah, he was a talented guy, but when you look back in Detroit, you know, they drafted, they had Calvin Johnson, right? Then they come back and draft who? Javi Best. Why? He's a dynamic running back, but he was also a dynamic wide receiver at the backfield. So with Calvin Johnson taking all we're gonna have some matchup issues. We're gonna have some create some problems. You know, it didn't work out that way, but that's the whole thought concept behind it. You know, that's the whole concept behind it. You know, and like I said, it's just all about how teams want to build how they want to build it. You know, you look at Dallas, you know, they wanted to go O lineman and get a good running back. That's what they did, and they were able to do that for a while. But like I say, until you know you can get those guys out the box, it just makes it harder. That's when they start trying to get Amari Cooper, and then they go and draft CD Lamb, and they, you know what I'm saying? Because now you got to figure out a way to get guys out the box. Derrick Henry didn't rush for 2,000 yards this year. They don't have AJ Brown. Say is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Miles Sanders looked at as a big time running back in the NFL right now. Right? He signed with Carolina, right? Got a little money. Well, you got AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith on the outside. You're probably getting some 6-man boxes. That be why, and I don't understand why. And I know these guys are smart, but it'd be like they don't understand that. Because that'll be why you'll have a guy like Miles that'll come from Philadelphia where he was able to be this and that, and then he'll go to Carolina and you'll be wondering why can't he rush for 70 yards in a game. You know what I'm saying? Because the system is going to be different. Or you know what I'm saying, the way they're using them in Carolina is not how they use them in Philly. You know? And I just feel like, do these teams not see that? Like, do you really think he's just that? You have some guys who are just that. It don't matter what you, and you have other guys who are that because of this. Right? So we'll see how it plays out. You know, I like for everybody to shine. But like I said, Derrick Henry didn't rush for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah, it's the difference between playing with AJ Brown and not playing with AJ Brown. It's the difference between safeties respecting your teammates and the safeties completely keying in on you, the running back.
Mm-hmm. Huge difference. Huge difference.
I feel like I have learned so much. The backside, the fact that we're not even looking for man to man first and foremost. We don't care about the zone the man. We care about how deep the safety is, because that means we're either going over the middle if it's two, or we're going backside if it's one. That is going to change the way I view football games.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in this formation. I'm gonna be real quick. In this formation that you got right there, it's a 2x2, right? It's called 2x2 because you got two wide receivers on one side and you got two eligibles on the other side, right? Tight end, wide receiver on one side, two wide receivers on the other side. So it's called a 2x2. You can go 3x1, right? So take the tight end and move them to the other side. Boom. So if you take the tight end and move them to the other side, right? This right here, as it is called 4 strong because you got 3 receivers and the running backs on that side, right? So most of the time, offenses have a package when they go 4 strong, because most of the time that running back is going to be to the other side. Boom. So now you got 3x1. So you got 3 receivers to one side, 1 receiver backside, right? So if you're going traditional cover 1, right? Where's the strong safety going to be?
He's going to be on the running back, wouldn't he?
Nope.
Or
traditional cover 1, the strong safety is going to be on the tight end.
Right. Oh, right. Yes.
So then the wheel's going to come over. He's going to be on the running back. The mic is in the middle. Right? So what happens at the snap of the ball? They do a play fake, or the mic or the halfback just steps up in the middle inside and block. What's the wheel going to do?
If the halfbacks block and the will gets to blitz, doesn't he?
Yep, he could if they run a green dog type of system. So now you see those 3 guys on that one side. You see the wheel going to attack his guy. Look who's out there on that. Look who's out there on that receiver.
Oh,
look who's out there. There's nobody out there. There's nobody out there. He run a quick slant and
boom.
win. Now he's one-on-one with the safety, running full head of steam. He give him a move at the line and run a go and run a go ball. There's nobody there. There's nobody there.
Yeah, no matter
There's
what
nobody
he
there.
runs, it's dangerous. It's
Right. There's
you're on an
nobody there.
island.
You're on an island, right? That's why they called it Revis Island. Now, you're on an island back there. This is what it is, right? So if you look at it from a cover 3 standpoint, right? Cover 3 standpoint, now, depending on the type of cover 3 that we're in, now it can look different. Because from a cover 3 standpoint, if I'm playing just regular cover 3, I want my safety to come down opposite of the nickel. So if the nickel's on the right, the safety comes down to the left. So now what that does is it hurts you when you have a guy like a Travis Kelce, because you got the wide tight end over there with those linebackers, right? But it helps you because now you got a safety on the backside. So now your cornerback feels a little more love and a little more protection if that receiver runs a slant route or any kind of in route or something like that. You got a safety sitting right there as opposed to a linebacker, right?
And that's the key to having a Will who can hang with tight ends, right?
Yes. So that's when you start seeing all those little things come into play. When you got a Will linebacker who can not only tackle, but they can cover, right? That gives you more flexibility. When you got, linebackers that understand coverage, far as being able to drop into that slant window, all those different, like when you got those guys, it allows you to be able to do more things. When you don't have those guys, that's when you become one-dimensional and it's easy for the offenses to pick you apart because they know he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that, he's gonna do this, and yeah, you may mix it up every now and then, but they know at the core of your heart, this is what you're gonna do. Period. And so you get all types of stuff like that. You get all types of stuff, you know. But yeah, that's a 3-by-1 formation. And there's tons of 3-by-1s, but in the grand concept of scheme, when you hear 3-by-1, it means it's 3 receivers on one side or 3 eligibles on one side and 1 eligible on the backside. That's 3-by-1 because the tight end could be flexed out wide right there. You can have a 3 open look. You can have the tight end to say that's a 3 open look, like a trips. You can bring him in and make a bunch, right? You can take the tight end, put him to the backside. Boom, flex him out right there and take the Z and put him to the other side. Now you got another bunch. That's a speed because you got 3 wide receivers to one side. But when you got a Travis Kelce, now you got him lined up on the backside. Now you want to see how they're going to play this. How are they going to play it? Are they going to bring the corner over for the man-to-man? Now they got a safety one-on-one on the island with Travis Kelce. What are they going to do?
How are you going to cover it?
How you going to cover it? Right? You put Travis Kelce right there, and you got the H. Move the H up a little bit, offset right outside the tackle. The halfback.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, right outside. Nope, not all the way. Still back in the backfield by the quarterback, but he's inside, in a little bit, right there. And then bring Travis Kelce in just a little bit. Out a little bit more, out a little bit more. A little bit. Right there. So now, you're in man-to-man. Who got who?
Safety would have to have the tight end, and the Mike would have to have the halfback.
Right. So go to the tight end and give him a route of, let me see what the route would be. Go to corner. Go up corner. Boom. All right, go to the halfback, the H. Give him the route of, see what angle right is at the top. Nope, not that one. Let me see what it would be called on here. Would be, you can just go swing right. I don't really want the swing route though. Well, let me see. Go back up, in, out, drag, flat, dig, curl, come back, angle right. Go to angle left. See what angle left is. Nah, that got him going over there. I don't want that either. So yeah, just put him on it. Let's go to the out route. No, not that either. Not that. They should have a flat route. I don't see a flat route. Oh, there you go, right there.
There we
flat
go.
Right. There we go. So when you have that right there, how are they playing that?
That's a long sprint for the
That's a
Mike
tough play for him. So when you see those linebackers get beat on those angle routes, so go back to the halfback. So you've seen this route right here, right? You see this route. So this Mike has this backer, has the halfback to the flat, right? So we're in the complex. We're in the complex right now because the Mike and the safety could go what they call in and out, where the safety takes the outside guy, the Mike takes the inside guy. The problem is both of those guys are running out. So if the safety comes off and take the halfback to the flat, there's no way the Mike is running to the corner route on Travis Kelce, right? If the safety stays with the tight end, now that's a long way to go for the Mike against a good running back, right? He's trying to fight through traffic underneath, and the guy's running to the outfield. To the flats, right? conflict. Lots of conflict. So now the Mike is trying. Now take that halfback and now give him that angle route. Boom. So now this Mike is knowing I gotta try to beat this guy to the flat, and then now the running back comes up, boom, like he's going to the flat, and he angles right back in to the middle. Touchdown. You see it all the time.
Yep.
Linebackers get beat on that all the time. So those are things that you have, but they created conflict. They put 3 wide receivers on one side with the one tight end backside. That's what you can do with a Travis Kelce. You can't do that with tight ends that they don't respect like that. So you got a tight end that you got to respect. Now you can do stuff like that. And that's what causes all of the confusion, because the offense know, all right, they're man to man. This is the conflict. We know that this linebacker can't get here. We've seen it on film. We've seen how they play it, because teams play it so many different ways, right? They can play it a ton of different ways, right? Depending on who your defensive end is, right? You may have a good defensive end that can take that back to the flat, right? You got a TJ Watt or, a guy that can run. You may say, hey, that Mike backer may say, hey, if he go to the flat, you take him and I'll replace you in the blitz, right? So meaning the halfback goes to the flat, the end, give him a flat route. This will be my last one. Boom. So the end would take him, and then the Mike would just replace the end on the blitz.
And then is he giving up his gap on the inside, or they have to have a cover for the will to take that?
But there is no run now because the halfback is gone.
Duh.
So the gap doesn't matter unless you got Lamar Jackson and he pulls it and runs right up the A gap, because there's nobody in the middle of the field now. Right? So those are all things that you see throughout the week of practice, right? You see through scouting, you see, hey, how do they play this right here? Hey, you know what? When they do this on this side, they play it like this. TJ is going to take this halfback to the flat, and that Mike is going to replace. So if we catch him in a single high like this right here, hey, Lamar, look for, if they give us that look and TJ takes Buddy to the flat, pull the ball down, because the A gap is going to be open right up the middle. You should have wide open run gap, because the Mike had to leave. Right?
And then you're not getting touched till you get to the safety.
You're not getting touched till you get to the safety.
And that's already 10 yards deep. You never, you hear people say all the time, you never want your safeties making tackles. No, it's fine them making tackles when it's around the line of scrimmage. You don't want them to have to make the tackles because everyone else missed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, anytime you walked out, anytime you leave a game and the free safety had 10 tackles, it probably wasn't a great game unless he was blitzing a lot that game.
Yeah.
Because that means he's getting 10 yards every time almost before he makes the tackle. So, yeah, you don't want that. But those are, like I said, those are just some of the conflicts that you get into when you see the single high. Single high is more of a, hey, this is what we're doing. We're coming at you like man up, beef up, let's go.
Old
Too
school
high
football
stuff is more tricky. You know what I'm saying? It's coverage. It's 2 on one side, 4 on the other side, or it's this. You know what I'm saying? Too high is a little more conservative, right? We're trying to stop you from scoring a touchdown. So we're going to keep our guys safe. We're going to protect people. You know what I'm saying? That's a too high look. You got 2 guys. Single high, hey, man, we coming at you. Like, me against you. Man to man, we ain't got no help. It's me against you. I'm going to win or you going to win. That's how you can think of cover 1 and cover 3 versus your cover 2s and cover 4s.
Glover, thank you so much for the education today. It's truly going back to school with you. The amount of knowledge that you have to drop and the amount I have learned. I'm still the fact that quarterbacks aren't as concerned with man or zone as I once thought. That is something that's going to completely change the game for me. So Glover, thank you so much once again. Any final thoughts? You wrapped it up pretty good, but any final thoughts on cover one, the Lions, framing, anything in general? Any final thoughts?
Oh man, learning more about the game obviously makes the game better for you because you understand more. You know what's going on. You know what to expect. You know what to look for. You know why things happen. That always makes it a better experience. So continue to learn. Continue to increase your knowledge of the game. It will help you. The lines. Hey man, you're in a good position, right? You're in a good position. Got the draft coming up. Exciting times. Um, Continue making noise silently. It's crazy to say that, right? You're making noise silently. You're making some good moves. You're doing some good things. You're building some good things. Continue to do that. And yeah, hit me up to get some frames. GQ frames. Let's go.
Let's go, Glover. Thank you once again for joining. It is always a pleasure. And until we get together again, we'll be talking about the draft. We'll be talking about, we got to break down cover two at some point, which we'll get to. We have so much fantastic content coming to you, and we will see you then.
Peace.